All right, let's jump right in. I want you to think about a kind of radical idea. What if the secret to communicating really, really well wasn't about learning more words, but about truly mastering just a handful of them? Today, we're going to see how a tiny core vocabulary can unlock a whole universe of meaning. So let me just ask you this. Do you think you could explain almost anything, from complex science to just how your day was, using a vocabulary of only 850 words? It sounds pretty much impossible, right? But believe it or not, it's the core idea behind a very real and pretty revolutionary system. And there it is. That's the magic number, 850. It's not just random. This is the complete list of core words in a system called Basic English. It was actually designed way back in the 1930s to be a kind of universal language, a super simple, clear foundation for people all over the world to communicate. You can think of it as the ultimate linguistic toolkit. Now, to really get a feel for the power packed into this list, we're not going to try to go through all 850 words. That would be nuts. Instead, we're going to zoom way, way in and put just one of them under the microscope to see how much heavy lifting it can actually do. And the word we're going to pick apart today is late. I know, it seems so simple, almost forgettable. But as we're about to find out, this one little word is a total workhorse, doing way more than you'd probably ever guess. And here it is, the crucial link. This comes straight from the Simple English Wiktionary, which confirms that, yep, late is on that Basic English 850 list. So this isn't just some random word I picked. It's officially one of the foundational building blocks of the English language. So the secret sauce for these core words is just how flexible they are. Many of them have to do multiple jobs. Late is a perfect example of this. It works as both an adjective, which describes stuff, and an adverb, which describes actions. And you can see its two jobs right here, side by side. On the left, it's an adjective describing the person. He was late. But over on the right, it's an adverb describing the action. He came late. It's a subtle shift, but it basically doubles the word's usefulness. And check this out. This table shows something really fascinating. Look at the adjective column. You can have later and latest. That makes perfect sense. But now, look at the adverb column. It's empty. You can't really come latest. The word just works. This kind of lean efficiency is exactly what makes that Basic English list so incredibly powerful. Okay, let's dive into just the adjective form for a second. Because even when it's only doing one of its jobs, late still wears a few different hats. It actually has at least 3 completely distinct meanings when it's describing a noun. First, you've got the meaning we all know and, let's be honest, dread, being tardy. Happening after it was supposed to. Think, the train is late. This is the version of late we probably run into every single day. But it can also mean something completely different. Late can describe something happening towards the end of a period, like the late afternoon, or, as you see here, a late meeting. In this case, the opposite isn't on time, it's early. It's a totally different concept, but we're using the exact same word. Pretty neat, huh? And then you've got this one, which is a total curveball. When you put late before a person's title, like my late husband, it means that person has passed away. Now, this meaning has nothing to do with schedules or time of day, yet it's another core function of this one simple word. So what about its adverb job? Well, as we saw before, it can mean not on time. Like in that first example, he came 5 minutes late. But it can also tell you when something happens, specifically at night. If somebody says we stayed late, they mean they stayed into the nighttime hours. So 2 different ways to modify an action, all packed into one little word. Okay, so we've been deep in the weeds on this one word. Let's zoom back out. What does all this actually mean? This is where we connect the incredible flexibility of a word like late right back to the power of that original 850 word list. So think of late as a seed. Once you understand its core functions, you can easily grasp related words like lately or lateness. And from there, it's a short hop to building even more complex ideas like latecomer or late night. This is how a small vocabulary becomes a powerful launchpad. And really, this is the whole point. The goal of a system like Basic English isn't to limit what you can say. It's to give you an incredibly powerful foundation. By mastering these super flexible foundational words, you're not just learning a list, you're building a whole framework to express almost any idea with clarity. And of course, these words are so fundamental that they get baked right into our everyday expressions and idioms. This classic phrase is a perfect example. It shows that late isn't just a word, it's a core piece of our cultural software. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. What other simple, everyday words are we just taking for granted? Words like get, run, or set. They're all on that same 850 list, and each one holds a universe of meaning just waiting to be explored. What will you look at differently now?